Ever pondered on how a tiny bacterium can cause unparalleled havoc? Well, today we dive into the world of anthrax, nature's perfect bioweapon. This microorganism, invisible to the naked eye, has the power to wreak devastation on a scale that's difficult to comprehend. The term anthrax may sound menacing, and it has a history to match. It originates from the Greek word anthracis, which translates to coal. This is in reference to the coal-black skin lesions that are a hallmark of cutaneous anthrax infections. Anthrax is not a recent discovery. It has been lurking in the shadows for centuries, silently evolving and perfecting its lethal strategies. But how did it come to be? How did this tiny bacterium turn into one of nature's most formidable weapons? So let's delve into the history of this deadly bacterium. Our journey begins in the 19th century with a curious scientist and a deadly disease. As the Industrial Revolution was transforming the world, another revolution was quietly taking place in the world of medicine. This story revolves around a German physician, Robert Koch, and a lethal disease known as anthrax. In the year 1876, while the world was marveling at the likes of the telephone and the typewriter, Robert Koch was peering through a microscope at an invisible enemy. He was studying anthrax, a disease that was causing havoc among livestock and occasionally infecting humans. Armed with his microscope, Koch was about to make a discovery that would alter the course of medical history. Koch identified a rod-shaped bacterium in the blood of infected animals and was convinced that this tiny organism was the cause of anthrax. But how could he prove it? This is where Koch's postulates come into play. These are 4 criteria designed to establish a causal relationship between a microbe and a disease. First, the microbe must be found in all organisms suffering from the disease, but not in healthy organisms. Second, the microbe must be isolated from a diseased organism and grown in pure culture. Third, the cultured microbe should cause disease when introduced into a healthy organism. And fourth, the microbe must be re-isolated from the inoculated, diseased experimental host and identified as being identical to the original specific causative agent. Koch applied these postulates to anthrax, and for the first time, a bacterium was conclusively demonstrated to cause disease. This was a groundbreaking moment. It not only confirmed the germ theory of disease, which posited that diseases were caused by microorganisms, but also paved the way for the development of vaccines and antibiotics. With this discovery, the stage was set for a new era in medicine and, unfortunately, in warfare. As we'll see, anthrax's ability to form hardy spores, coupled with its deadly nature, made it an attractive option for those seeking to harness the power of biology for destructive purposes. It's the early 20th century, and a deadly bacterium is about to take center stage. A microscopic organism, known as anthrax, is about to morph from a naturally occurring disease into a weapon of mass destruction. Anthrax, caused by the bacterium Bacillus anthracis, was primarily a disease that plagued livestock and occasionally transferred to humans. It was an agricultural nuisance that carried with it a deadly potential. However, as the world plunged into the chaos of World War I, this potential was realized in a way that no one could have anticipated. At the dawn of the 20th century, the understanding of bacteria and their role in disease was just beginning to take root. It was during this time, amidst the turmoil of global conflict, that the idea of weaponizing anthrax emerged. The bacterium's resilient spores, which could survive for years in harsh conditions, made anthrax an attractive candidate for a bioweapon. In the trenches of World War I, anthrax was used for the first time as a biological weapon. It was surreptitiously added to livestock feed, with the aim of infecting and killing the animals that the troops relied on for food and transportation. This marked a sinister turning point in the history of anthrax, as it transitioned from a disease of animals and farmers into a tool of warfare. The end of the war didn't mark the end of anthrax's dark journey. In the years following the conflict, research into biological weapons continued, and in the 1930s, the first anthrax-based weapon was created. The bacterium was cultivated and packed into bombs, ready to be dropped on unsuspecting populations. The weaponization of anthrax represented a chilling evolution of warfare, taking advantage of the microscopic world to inflict large-scale devastation. And thus, a deadly disease was transformed into a terrifying weapon. The story of anthrax serves as a stark reminder of the dual nature of scientific discovery. It can both heal and harm depending on how it's used. And as we continue to grapple with the implications of this reality, The tale of anthrax's transformation from disease to weapon remains a chilling chapter in our shared history. Enter the 21st century, a time when bioweapons had become a chilling reality. In the dawn of the new millennium, the world was abruptly introduced to the terrifying potential of biological warfare, with anthrax at the center of this nightmarish scenario. The year was 2001, and the United States was reeling from the shock of the September 11th attacks when a new terror began to unfold, this time in the form of an invisible enemy, anthrax. Anthrax-laced letters were sent to media outlets and senators, causing 22 cases of infection and 5 tragic deaths. This bioterrorism event, known as the 2001 anthrax attacks, brought to light the destructive power of this bacterium when used as a weapon. The strain used in these attacks was the Ames strain, known for its virulence and high fatality rate. The victims were primarily infected with inhalation anthrax, the deadliest form of the disease. Why is it so lethal, you may ask? Well, once inhaled, anthrax spores can germinate within the lungs, leading to severe respiratory illness and, if not treated immediately, death. It's not just the high fatality rate that makes anthrax a perfect bioweapon. Its resilience is another factor that plays into this grim equation. Anthrax spores can survive in harsh conditions for decades, lying dormant until they find a suitable host. This means it can be easily stored and transported, making it a viable choice for those with malicious intent. Furthermore, the lack of a distinctive smell or taste makes detection extremely challenging, allowing for covert operations that can have devastating effects before anyone realizes what's happening. With the 2001 anthrax attacks, the world saw a shift from the conventional warfare of guns and bombs to the unseen warfare of microscopic organisms. The fear that followed these attacks was palpable, a fear of the unknown, a fear of something as simple as opening a letter. Anthrax had now become synonymous with fear and terror. But every villain has a hero, and in the case of anthrax, science is our savior. From the moment anthrax reared its ugly head, scientists worldwide have been locked in a relentless battle against this formidable foe. The first major breakthrough came in the late 19th century, when the German physician, Robert Koch, identified the bacterium responsible for the disease, laying the groundwork for future treatments. Fast forward to the mid-20th century and we find another trailblazer, Albert Sabin, developing the first effective anthrax vaccine. This vaccine, primarily used for livestock, played a vital role in curtailing the spread of the disease, offering a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak scenario. As the years rolled by, the focus shifted from prevention to treatment. Antibiotics, the wonder drugs of the century, were enlisted in the fight against anthrax. Penicillin, tetracycline, and ciprofloxacin emerged as potent weapons effectively treating anthrax, especially when administered early on. But the war against anthrax isn't just about scientific breakthroughs, it's also about public health initiatives. Organizations like the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have been at the forefront, coordinating efforts to manage outbreaks, promote vaccination, and provide resources for early detection and treatment. These organizations, along with a network of dedicated healthcare professionals, work tirelessly to keep us safe, often operating behind the scenes, away from the public eye. Their efforts, coupled with scientific advances, have significantly reduced the threat posed by anthrax. However, the fight isn't over. As we speak, scientists are working on next-generation vaccines and treatments aimed at providing even better protection against this deadly disease. And with the advent of technology, the hope is that we'd be able to predict and prevent outbreaks before they happen. The story of anthrax is one of fear and devastation, but it's also a story of resilience and human endeavor. It's a testament to our ability to fight back, to adapt, and to overcome. While anthrax may be nature's perfect bioweapon, humanity's resilience and scientific progress continue to fight back. From a mysterious disease to a deadly weapon, the journey of anthrax is a chilling reminder of nature's destructive potential. We've traced its discovery, journeyed through its evolution from a disease to a weapon, and delved into the era of biological warfare where it was weaponized with devastating consequences. We've seen the relentless fight against anthrax, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity in the face of a formidable enemy. The tale of anthrax underscores the importance of scientific research and public health measures. Our ability to combat biological threats hinges on relentless investigation, understanding, and preparedness. It's a battle fought in labs and research centers, on the front lines of public health, and in the minds of those who seek to understand and harness the secrets of the natural world. In the face of such threats, knowledge is our greatest weapon. Stay curious, stay informed, and as always, stay safe.